Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their new books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in development by Bob Chapek, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there that are working on the entirety of this new Star Wars universe at heart. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one major aspect of the future of the Star Wars universe that is currently being looked over by Bob Chapek has a lot to do with exactly how they're going to be able to balance both Star Wars Legends and the already existing Disney canon material into one to really cater to all types of fans. Whether you're a hardcore, casual, or new fan, they want to make sure that everybody's going to be very well satisfied with the direction of the franchise. Now, as of right now, there's a lot of things being done with the sets being built for the Ahsoka Tano series. A lot of those sets, by the way, are going to be used for the middle portion of the Ahsoka Tano TV show. We have Rosario Dawson already training for the role of Ahsoka Tano. She's preparing to begin filming in just a short number of days. She's got a lot of work on her plate. I mean, she's got a multi-show deal after all. You know, she's not just going to appear in her very own show. She is going to have a lot of reappearances in The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, as well as other Star Wars projects out there like the Bo-Katan series that we've been talking about. Now, on top of all of this, what's really exciting has a lot to do with the fact of what Disney CEO Bob Chapek recently did in order to properly regulate the Star Wars universe and to adjust it properly as well, to really make sure that things are being done in order to preserve the franchise, to make the fans happy, and not create another backlash like with what happened with The Last Jedi, right? So, with, of course, the new Star Wars TV shows currently in the works by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, Disney CEO Bob Chapek is also making some great changes behind the scenes over at LUCASFILM. However, it's noted that recently Bob Chapek made a drastic adjustment to Star Wars that caused tons of conflict between himself and Kathleen Kennedy. Recently, Bob Chapek made the ultimate decision to cancel an entire series of the High Republic era. This was described to be a brand new phase of the High Republic that was going to be adapted into the form of live action, that was greenlit by Kathleen Kennedy back in 2018, that was actually in limbo for many years, that has recently come to an end. Now, this cancellation has to do with low demand over the High Republic era and the poor story choices that were being created by Kathleen Kennedy and others associated with her. Now, these High Republic stories had to do with the origin stories or characters, such as the beloved character Yoda, that was going to be, of course, a moment in time where it focuses on his life during the High Republic, and that Kennedy was even going to be the first to tap into Yoda's childhood, using flashback sequences in this planned High Republic series that was going to span multiple different TV shows and other types of lore. Now, Bob Chapek was not happy at all with Kathleen Kennedy's treatment of the origin story of Yoda, and that Kathleen Kennedy was best described to be on a plan to, of course, or on a mission, if you will, to completely change the character of Yoda in pretty much his entirety. Now, that's the thing where I have a lot of problems with Kathleen Kennedy, is the fact that she wanted to change Yoda's overall structure. What the character really is, what the character stands for, how George Lucas created the character was going to be all undone. And that really worried me as a fan. I gotta say, you know, when you look at the High Republic, which, by the way, is still on with the Acolyte show and Project Vortex, even though it is going through a lot of setbacks, but this was going to be the one series. It was untitled, but it was going to be the High Republic focused with Yoda in the background. It was going to be a series that was going to drastically change our view or our perception of what Star Wars really is, and it was going to drastically change the philosophy of the franchise as well. And when you mess around with things like that, that's where things begin to decline. You know, you can't really change things like that. You know, things that are such, you know, pretty much cemented into Star Wars as a brand. You cannot undo that. You can't. You just can't, because once you undo that, you kind of destroy the overall structure of the franchise, and that's where everything begins to just drop like, you know, flies, essentially. Now, The thing about Bob Chapek making this call and why it took so long had a lot to do with the fact of it does take a while to cancel a series, you know, pretty much when it comes to what was greenlit already and what Kathleen Kennedy had done with Bob Iger for creating their own new universe. Actually, believe it or not, their take on the original Star Wars universe when it came to TV shows is that both Kennedy and Iger wanted to do a lot of adaptations of Rian Johnson's, at the time, planned trilogy, as well as adaptations of the High Republic books in live-action form, and that they only and strictly wanted to focus on that, those two eras, to create a new Star Wars universe. They wanted to shift away completely from any familiar faces, except for Yoda, of course, but they also wanted to reset many aspects of the philosophy. So, Bob Chapek really made the right call here without a doubt. Now, these High Republic stories were also being created in an attempt to rid any possibility of there also being an Old Republic era. This is where things begin to get a little bit worse here, is that Kathleen Kennedy had a plan to make the Old Republic nothing more than a widely discussed legend between the Jedi. Kathleen Kennedy was essentially treating the Old Republic like the story of Atlantis, and made this era out to be nothing more than fiction for the Jedi to discuss on whether or not it was real or actually even happened. Kathleen Kennedy's goal was to eventually, of course, and essentially, give the fans her version of Yoda during his young days and to completely erase any possibility of the Old Republic becoming a thing. Given that now an Old Republic series is in the works, Chapek made sure to finalize the cancellation of these other High Republic shows that were greenlit by both Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy back in 2018, after Episode 8 released in an attempt to create a fresh new era for fans to witness on screen. Now, the show was also going to change the entire Jedi Order and how it operated in this time period, another thing that Chapek did not agree with at all by Kathleen Kennedy in the slightest. He made sure to cancel all of this immediately. So here's the other important thing that I think a lot of fans need to know for sure, is that Kathleen Kennedy thankfully has no creative power over any of the existing Star Wars projects that are in the roadmap or in the works. Only Project Vortex and the Acolyte series is what Kathleen Kennedy has creative control over as we speak. But the other thing is that you got people like John, George, and Dave doing their thing, doing their universe, and then you have Kathleen Kennedy pretty much doing her side of the story of her universe. So it is kind of going to be a little bit disjointed when the Acolyte series debuts, when, of course, Project Vortex debuts, which, by the way, that is still set to begin filming by this June. If everything moves along smoothly, that is basically the Stranger Things in Space project that's going to focus on Jedi Padawans during the High Republic era. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. It doesn't sound all that, appealing to me as a fan, but like I say, I think that Chapek made the right call here by not allowing Kathleen Kennedy to essentially deconstruct the character of Yoda into nothing, and to make the Old Republic nothing more than a myth or a legend. That's what Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do in order to make sure that the Old Republic could not become a new TV show. And that would have been disastrous for, of course, Disney, because a lot of fans are very excited for that. So, overall, let me know what you guys have to say about this entire situation between Chapek and Kennedy, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.